Camera going. All right, everybody. Happy to be here with all of you today. I just want to give it a moment to let everybody hop in here. Say hello in the chat. Oh, I love seeing hello, Linda from Vancouver, Rainey from Oklahoma, Sandy from Michigan, Emma from San Diego. Hello. Welcome, everybody. Super excited to see you here. I'll open up the chat here as well on Zoom. It looks like it's just taking a second. There you go. Say hello in Zoom as well so I can be sure that it's working. All right. Welcome, everybody. Super excited to be here for this Starseed Awakening special event. This is going to be an amazing time. I've done this a few times, and every time it's always fabulous. And each one of you that shows up here live, whether you're live or replay, completely has an impact on what we get to create together, right? The questions that come through, the activations, the channeled messages are completely live and relevant to who is watching at this time. And again, I always do include the replay viewers in that consciousness of energy that I'm speaking to. So no worries. It's just as powerful if you're catching it then. So say hello, and let's go ahead and let me just give you kind of an overview, I think, for today. I know that, first of all, thank you for taking the time to be here with me. It's going to be amazing. But I'm curious, tell me in the chat, have you ever felt like you don't really fit in or belong in the world as you know it? Let me know if that's how you ever felt. Like, do you ever feel like you were born for more, maybe, right? And to make a positive impact in the world in some form or fashion? There's no right or wrong answer. But I feel like those of you that resonate with the starseed energy often have felt misunderstood, right? Often kind of feel like you don't quite fit in, just kind of doing life to the beat of your own drum, or maybe different than how your family was raised. And so it's so wonderful when we can come together and connect in this way with other people who really understand and get us, even though we've never actually met in person. It's like I already know something about you just based on that similarity, right? And I know that many of you also feel like you're here to make an impact in the world. You're here that you're here to be of service in some way. And so all of that is very wonderful. Yes, I was born for more. Awesome. You're all in the right place. And even if you're not sure if you feel called to be of service, you're absolutely still in the right place. I just wanted to check in and see who's here. Because actually, as I'll talk about a little bit more later about our purposes of being a starseed, so much of it just has to do with our own personal growth and healing, and how that has a ripple effect for the world at large and for the family that we've incarnated with. So very quickly, for those of you that are new to me, my name is Jen Gilchrist, and I'm thrilled to have you here. And I know if you found your way here, you are a powerful light worker or starseed who has amazing gifts to share with the world, even if you're not aware of it yet, or even if you're not sure what that is yet, right? And so thank you again for being here for me. I know so often as starseeds, as I said, it's like we don't feel like we are into the social norm, whatever that means, right? Sometimes we might have felt super like we didn't connect with our family, or in the high school cliques, maybe not, or either we tried really hard to fit in, but always felt like it wasn't quite right, or maybe we just didn't fit in at all, right? Or maybe you had an internal longing or emptiness in your heart that you felt was missing, right? Something that's just kind of like, something doesn't feel like complete within me, right? I know many of you are also starseeds tend to be very intuitive, empathic, old souls who feel this internal drive to make a world a better place, as we've already mentioned. Or it might just be coming through in the earlier stages of your awakening as like just recognizing the injustices that kind of steam you up. It's like, this could be better or should be different, right? And so those are just kind of aspects. And the good news is you're not alone. You found your way here because this resonates for you, right? And you're in good company of many other people as well. And so this particular series is special as well because we're going to be using the Lionsgate portal as a gateway and amplifier for this transformational experience. You're going to learn a lot of information today, which is going to be amazing. Also, if you registered, you're going to get the replay sent out to you so you can listen to it again. You might want to take notes as well, if you feel called to, but it's also meant to be an energetic transmission. We're going to have this be a very transformational experience. We're going to do some guided messages and journeys. It's especially powerful for starseeds that, during the Lionsgate, coming back to that, for starseeds, what makes it special for us as well is that we get information and wisdom from our stars family, right? You start to have that remembrance. You start to amplify the awakening of your gifts. You start to illuminate your soul's purpose. So during this portal way, which is actually from around July 26th through August 12th, peaking on August 8th, we're in this portal of energy that's just make time to meditate, make time to reflect and to journal and to receive. Like, give yourself a little bit of time to receive for sure. And topping that all off in real time, we're also in a Mercury retrograde. So definitely requiring a little bit of slowing down. It's going to benefit you so greatly in terms of the expansion that will be on the other side. So let's harness this magical energy together. The part one is about 75 minutes. Okay, it's my intention is to be about 75 minutes. We're going to cover who starseeds are and where they come from. We're going to talk about the different purposes of starseeds and the types of starseed missions that there are, or at least some of them, right? So you can start to kind of find your own clarity and what resonates with you within that. We're going to learn some personality traits about some of the starseed soul groups, right? Perhaps help you gain clarity about your own starseed roots if you resonate with being a starseed. And if you're unsure, you're still in a great space here. Many light workers or many people are having starseed children or have starseeds in the family or in their job. They're meant to impact and support the evolution of consciousness, right? So whether you resonate with starseed or not, this will still be a very supportive. And for those of you who really resonate with all that I'm sharing today, which is going to be a whole lot of value and healing and transformation, I am going to share a way for you that you can go a little bit deeper in a couple of different ways. Many of you already have signed up for the part two. So what's going to happen, this is 75 minutes. We have a 15-minute break. And those of you that signed up for part two, it's just a VIP access of $11.11. You're going to get tons of value in the first half, so no problem if that's where you are. If you want to join the VIP event as well, it's not too late. We're going to join. That will be only on Zoom. Okay, so I'm going to have my team go ahead and place the link for that if you wanted to join. If you haven't, it will be on Zoom, and it will be directly following a 15-minute break after this one. And then in that one, we're going to go through a live channel transmission, messages to support your awakening journey, a guided journey to meet your star guide, and to align to your higher timeline. We're going to harness just the power of this energy together a little bit more deeply. Okay, so that is there for you, and it's not too late to join. So let's just go ahead and jump in. I want to just share just a few quick minutes about who I am and why I'm so passionate about helping other starseeds really awaken their gifts and their starseed roots so that you can make a difference in the world. Would that be okay? I think there is a lot of new people coming, which is super exciting, especially as my YouTube community is growing a lot this year. So it's definitely, I feel blessed at this point in time to be here with an amazing community like all of you, right? Feeling comfortable in my own unique skin and living my soul's purpose. And it's because of people like you that I get to do that, right? And I love having this clear connection with my own star family and being open to confidently and comfortably and be able to really channel the wisdom that they have for me. And to really, through that experience of connecting with my star family, I've downloaded programs and activations to support my own healing, as well as other starseeds to awaken their gifts and remember who they are and who they came to be, which is you, right? And it's definitely not always been this clear and fulfilling for me, though. I really struggled initially in my life, right? Trying to get clear on who I was. Even in my awakening journey started in 2008, there was quite a lot of time of just trying to figure out and switching different career opportunities, trying to figure out what my actual soul purpose was and how to live it. And I had a lot of blocks and fears around what my family and friends would think about my spiritual path and my purpose as I kind of really started to awakening more to who I truly was. And I tried to fit myself into a box for a while that, I didn't really want to rock the boat too much. I think this is kind of common fears for starseeds, which is why I like to share, right? It's like you kind of don't want to avoid confrontation or don't want to be the outcast or feel abandoned or misunderstood in some way. And because of that, I really, when I first started my spiritual business, I was watering down the uniqueness of who I was and my gifts and what I had to offer, which really led to me not attracting quite the right people, right? And it wasn't as fun or fulfilling for me either. And I definitely wasn't making the income to go full time and switch careers from my hair business into my spiritual business, which I knew I was meant to do for so long, right? And I was definitely feeling guided towards. And I remember the first time that I became really aware of connecting with a new council of beings, and I called them Alexia. Okay, and this consisted of some galactic guides, but it was sort of a group of guides that was here to support me specifically in my purpose work, right? It's kind of like my soul purpose spirit guides. I elevated into attracting them. And part of it was familiar, and part of it I had a lot of resistance to, in part because the vibration and the frequency was unfamiliar. The galactic vibration was unfamiliar. The archangels, right away in my spiritual awakening personally, felt very comfortable and familiar. For some of you, it might be fairies, it could be animals, it could be the earth, right? Or maybe right away you're connected with the starseed realm. But what I find for most people, the galactic guides, the star guides come in a little bit later for a lot of us. And that's okay. But because it was unfamiliar, I was sort of hesitant, right? And I do think a healthy dose of discernment is super important all the time, right? You want to know who and what you're talking to in terms of spirit. And even though the energy felt good, it was different than the archangels. So I sort of took my time with it. And, they came to me many times in my morning meditation, and I was cautious to work with them because I'd never learned about, there was not really resources at this time that I was aware of, not a lot of them. I think it's getting more now, or maybe I was just ready for it finally. But I didn't see a lot of resources about the starseed realm when this started happening to me, probably around 2017, something like that. And so I procrastinated on working with them for close to a year. But I was committed to carving out time consistently with these beings to learn more about them, to start to form a relationship, and to start to really work with these galactic guides and to get more familiar and attuned with their energy. And as I did that, in my own personal space, my personal healing grew exponentially. My spiritual business grew. I got super clear and, over my fears of being who I was as an intuitive psychic teacher, healer, whatever that is, right? And coming out with my gifts, and it really started to change everything. And even though I was uncomfortable, right, with kind of outside of my comfort zone at that time. And so light language is one of the gifts that also got activated for me when I started working with my star guides. And now I'm a conscious verbal channel, as well as trance channel sometimes, but mostly, I channel in many different ways. And a lot of that is being able to now share these transmissions with my community, which I've received thousands of messages and comments thanking me for this wisdom and how it helps them too. And since then, my business has grown exponentially. And it's, and I'm attracting those I'm meant to serve, right? It feels fulfilling to know I'm making a positive impact in people's lives. And that's really the beauty of living in alignment with your soul's mission. It's a win-win for everyone. So that's why I'm passionate about helping all of you awaken to your unique starseed mission and gifts, and really support you on your awakening journey as well. So I hope that makes sense. So how did you find who your star guides were? I think, it was really through kind of a Q&A journaling in my meditation space. I went a little bit of a long route, but I have some shortcuts for you that I'm going to share today. So we'll go over that a little bit more. But part of it is just being in my meditation space, conversing with them, asking them questions, getting familiar with them. And then my awareness and my remembrance started to waken up. You start to become attuned to different frequencies of energy. And we're going to do a little activation later today to kind of bring in some of those energies as well. So definitely have some ways to shortcut your time in a safe way to start to attune yourself to the frequency as well. It's kind of like the first time, there was a point in my life I didn't know spirit guides existed, right? And then I got attuned and started recognizing, eventually I realized those are spirit guides. And then it got more clear. Oh, these are archangels. Oh, that's Archangel Michael, right? Your discernment, when you start to tap into the energy more and more, gets more clear and familiar through time. And so I do think meditation is a huge piece of that. Okay. You're welcome. Okay, so let's talk about who starseeds are and where they come from. Okay, so starseeds are humans who have incarnated in places other than Earth, right? In other star systems and other places than Earth. And starseeds often are very sensitive, empathic, intuitive old souls who have most often incarnated at this time on Earth to be of service to humanity and to really usher in this new awakening and this new consciousness, to really be of service during this collective awakening, right? And oftentimes, as I've mentioned before, they feel misunderstood, right? Because you came here to be a change maker. So you're not going to be right in the mainstream of things. We're here to shake things up, right? Which can feel a little uncomfortable. Oftentimes, so does that make sense? Yes, I don't even fit in with my family. I think a lot of us, and especially, this goes into something else as well. For most, I think starseeds feel this way in different ways, at least. That we're here to actually we choose our family. I believe we definitely, before our incarnation, our soul has a plan, and we choose everything really ahead of time so that we can come in. Now, of course, we have free will of choice once we get here, so it's not that everything is just set in stone. We have to live it and choose it and grow through it once we become human, which is the hard part. I think when we're in the stars, before we're born, we're like, oh, this is great, let's do all these things. And so a lot of times starseeds will have pretty intense childhoods, or kind of a lot going on in their life, or maybe go through 3 lifetimes worth of, hardships, maybe compared to other people. And it's not a better or worse hierarchy in any way. It's just that we chose that because we transforming, because we're here to make changes. We incarnated into different families and different generational lines to literally change the future generations, right? To change future generations in a big way. And so that is something that I think that many people can relate to, right? And starseeds definitely. So if you found your way here, there's a high chance that you could be definitely a starseed. I have a lot of starseeds in my community, if not light workers, like I said, who are also here, who work in unison with starseeds as well, for sure, and often giving birth to starseed children, or maybe have grandchildren or nieces or nephews, or in a job that works with this younger generation who is now actually starting to get older and older, right? A lot of the indigos children, you might have heard that term, are in their 30s now. They're older. Even we have older ones as well, but there's a big wave of indigos coming in the 90s, right? And future, even younger children as well. But my point is that they're coming up into the world, into the into teachers, into the government, into the systems. And so that's why we're seeing such a huge collective shift happening, which is a crumbling. It's that tower moment first, right? Which looks like, but that's the first step of healing. That's the catalyst for the evolution in a lot of ways. So let's see, is everybody a starseed? How do you know you're not one? Well, I would say it's all going to be a personal journey. For what I'm speaking to in this purpose, I mean, when it starts to get complex in a sense of like bloodlines and who family and, all of that. But I say that not everybody's going to resonate with coming here with their soul origin, with a specific from another star, like Pleiadians or Arcturians or Sirians. Not everybody's going to resonate with that at this time, right? That's not going to be the case. But many of us, like in this type of community or in my community, a high percentage will, because that's who I am here to help support. And so it's really a personal journey. There's not like you can't take a cut and dry. I think it's a matter of resonate, like listening to courses, things like this, and feeling like what awakens within you, what feels true to me. Does that resonate with me? And you'll start to notice things come into your experience like synchronicities. And so it really is a personal, you have to decide certain things for yourself, right? And so I will get into that. I'm going to continue with what I have here. I'm going to answer as many questions as I can on this call as well. But if I get too sidetracked with questions, we'll get off track and I won't be able to get to everything. And then in part 2, I do have a little space to also answer more questions. Okay. So, but just briefly, rainbow kids, somebody asked a question about rainbow children. So there are crystal children and rainbow children and indigo children. Those are just labels. Like, we have to have words to talk about a common, thing, like a chair is a chair. So we all talk about that. A rainbow and crystal and indigo are just different types of, I believe, starseed children who are coming in with different personality traits. Just like a Scorpio has a different personality than a Cancer, they have different traits. So rainbow children are the purest, like a very pure soul, right? A very pure, vibrant, clear soul. They obviously, sometimes they don't have as much karma and baggage coming into their incarnation as a lot of us do, right? They are of a higher frequency. So indigos I think, are earlier adopters, and then got the crystal children who tend to be very telepathic and have some other qualities, very much nature and crystal lovers. And then rainbow children are a little bit newer frequency, but all of these really overlap with one another. Some of them, started earlier than others. They just come in at an influx. And the rainbow children kind of are the more later influx of kids who have been coming in, who have a really very pure energy, right? And they're very highly sensitive, very intuitively inclined, and they're going to be, the vision. They're going to be a lot of change makers within that group as well. But I do go a lot deeper in this. I could talk more about how to go deeper in a lot of these differentials, because we could get so super sidetracked on that. But that's a great question. Thanks for asking. And if I have time, we'll come back to some of those types of things as well. Okay, so yeah, so that is really the purpose of it. So just staying connected. And I think starseeds also have a tendency. So this is another thing. Starseeds have an affinity for nature, stargazing, can be very connected to animals, very intuitive and creative, often drawn to the healing arts. Some people struggle with their earthly body. So some starseeds, might have more body things they're working out this lifetime, because they are not used to the density of Earth, really. A lot can be diagnosed ADD, and otherwise there could be a sense of deep loneliness a lot of their life because of the misunderstood feeling. They might prefer to be a lone wolf, perhaps deal with addiction and depression at some point, usually pre-awakening, as a catalyst to redirect you to remember who you are. But when you get aligned with your starseed root and mission, things just really start to open up to a whole new world, right? And, so I just wanted to mention some of these, like if you're in the earlier stages, you're not alone and you have amazing gifts to share. And we're all on the perfect timeline for us, right? We're all kind of coming in and awakening and in our own time and way. And that's perfect. Okay. And that's exactly perfect. I feel like I'm a light worker, but also feel like I'm not from this planet. I think here's how I would differentiate. And this is all, my definitions. There's no end all be all definition for these things. But from my perspective, a light worker is like an overarching term. And then I would say, in my experience, all starseeds are light workers. So she said, basically, I feel like I'm a light worker, but I also feel like I'm not from this planet. So I think starseeds are light workers, right? But not all light workers may resonate with being a starseed, meaning they may be like of this ancient earth, reincarnated as an old soul, but really haven't ventured out to other planets, right? Or star systems, etc. Versus a starseed who definitely came in from a strong soul origin of another place, right? So I think that basically all starseeds are light workers, in my opinion. Okay. Oh, wow. Depression for sure before the awakening in 2018. Yeah, that could be really common, right? And it's not to say that everybody that has ADD or depression or any of these things are all starseeds, for sure. That's not the case, but just, it's always good to kind of give you some ideas about some commonalities that people find, so you can start to really tune into what resonates and feels true for you. Okay. So let's talk about the purpose of a starseed and some different types of starseed missions. Okay, so starseeds have agreed to incarnate to support the ascension of the Earth and the human race, right? And there's a lot of interest from our galactic friends, right? As we evolve and collectively here on Earth does have a huge ripple effect and impact on the universe at large, right? What we do on Earth affects everything, right? Just like everything we do affects everything on Earth. It's like that ripple effect, that butterfly effect. And so another thing to note is, even if you don't resonate as being a starseed necessarily, or you're unsure at this time, that's fine. I think it's good to do your own seeking and, come to things upon your own. I didn't always resonate with that or realize that. It came to me a little bit later in my awakening journey. I just kept following the path and things kept getting clearer and unfolding and remembrances came through. However, you can still have galactic star guides. Like if you're a light worker or you feel called to be of service in the world, but you're unsure if you're a starseed, you still have a whole there's a galactic team up there of spirit guides, just like archangels and animals and fairies or ascended masters that are here to help you and support you on your healing journey or your awakening journey or your purpose-driven work. Okay, so you can still work with this information I'm sharing. But in terms of starseeds missions, a few of them, the first thing I want to name, I'm just going to give you a few. There could be more nuanced, of course. But generally, like the first thing is, it's our own healing first, right? Our own healing has a profound impact on everybody. And part of that is that all of us are upgrading our body systems to be able to handle more light and higher frequency, and to break generational trauma and patterns on a cellular level, and to upgrade our DNA, right? For human evolution to kind of shift how our bodies work. Because the energy of the earth is becoming more crystalline in nature. We're receiving high level downloads. And so we are processing a lot. And I think that actually, and this will be true, like I think, for years to come and come in waves. But, this whole year, we've been having a high amount of downloads of energy, lots of energy processing. And part of like what I've been getting in many different channelings I've done for different memberships and groups and whatever content that I put out over the last several months and recently, and even right now in the Lionsgate portal, especially, it's like we're receiving high level energy and information. So your body might actually feel a little tired. You might actually feel a little off. It's important. You're just going to become even more important that we pay attention to our body's needs, because all of that is helping us to integrate the higher energy. High energy frequency downloads and information are coming in, but if we can't really process it all the way down through our body, we can't really have that, like, this is our new normal impact effect. And so a lot of us are coming in to upgrade the body systems to hold more light and higher frequency, and that's not always comfortable. And so we have to be gentle with ourselves if we have periods of time where we need more rest, or being called to eat or drink in a more clean, things that are healthy for us, right? That's all part of the shift that we're having. And part of it, we're also shifting is codependency, which is related to the addictions and things as well. But the other aspect is to break the generational trauma, which is and patterns, right, on a deep cellular and a genetic level, so that future generations, and even really generations in both directions of time, are supported. And so this is also that we can start to bring in and activate some of this, also activating dormant DNA that has ancient wisdom, allowing for the higher energy in our bodies. But we're actually a lot of us are here on the front lines, in a sense, of this ascension journey for the collective part of the earth, making these changes, which, it gets easier for generations to come. And then there was people before us that made it easier for us to get here, but it's just going to continue to snowball like a domino effect. It's starting to move very quickly now in larger numbers. If you've noticed, things are starting to become, I wouldn't say it's mainstream yet, but things are getting much more mainstream than they used to be. Meditation, you'll find a lot of people talking about it. You'll even see Reiki. I see Reiki at Kaiser and talking about acupuncture. This isn't the way not that long ago, right? And so it's going to continue to open up. So just know that the first thing is our own healing. It's always going to come back to that. And if that's where you're at, and that's really all you feel called to do is your healing, that's having a profound effect for you and your entire family line and the earth at large, really. Okay. So as we're doing this for ourselves, we're giving permission for others also, whether they're blood related or not, to activate their gifts, right? And to heal themselves. So as you change yourself, you also have an impact on just people in your circle. And then eventually, when you're raising your frequency, that impacts people you don't even talk to for miles around your aura, right? So we really start to, that's what a light worker is. We're anchoring in our light. Our higher frequency radiates out, and it becomes an ability for other people who are just kind of in our field of frequency to even have that for themselves and remember who they are, whether we even talk to them or not. So all of that is very, very key and very huge, and why also many of us are feeling called to travel around the world to both drop our light, anchor it in, pick up new, activate the earth, take it back to where we are, right? I just started leading in-person retreats all over the world to sacred places. I've been wanting to do that for years, and then boom, it was like, do this, it's time, right? And all of a sudden I've got 6 retreats between 25, this year and next year, and they're just going to keep going. And the part of that, I think, is about me getting activated with energy and clearing karma for my lifetimes there, as well as activating new energy and then taking that energy back to where I am, right? That's like we're little light posts all around the world. And so a lot of starseeds feel called to travel as well. Okay. Yes, been exhausted lately. Give yourself time, take good care. Taking a rest, all those things are really, really important. Okay, so let's go ahead and move to the second purpose work aspect. So some starseeds are here to raise, like I said, to raise starseed children. So whether you're a starseed or not, like some light workers, I think, are raising starseed children, or maybe we've incarnated into people who are not, which makes it extra difficult as a starseed if nobody in your family relates to you, right? But I think if you're here, it's possible that you're here to raise starseed children, or you might have grandchildren or cousins or nephews, or, in your workspace or something, because we're having an influx of starseeds coming in. And over the next decade, and then over the next 50 decades, this is going to exponentially shift the consciousness, and as this new waves of generations come in, and it just keeps getting more and more and more. And it's kind of exciting. There's definitely a huge shift that's palatable, right? Which is going to create a positive effect on the world it's just our dark nights of the soul, and we're in a collective dark night, right? It's always a little bit crunchy, and it might take a little while for all of majority of humanity to catch up, but we have to start somewhere, right? But then for those of us that are kind of further along, I feel like at a certain point it's going to actually start to get easier, because we kind of move through that hard part, and then that will ripple effect out to others, if that makes sense. Goosebumps everywhere. Awesome. See, starting to resonate. It's exciting. Number 3, some of us are really here to change things on a foundational level in our government, in our school systems, in our healthcare, protecting the planet, protecting animal and human rights, right? So if you feel deeply passionate or even angry in an area, this could be part of your starseed mission, right? You want to learn how to channel that anger into passion to inspire change versus saying stuck and right or wrong or this or that or judgment, because that's still just staying in the matrix, right? But we want to be aware of that anger and go, oh, this is actually pointing me to something that I can fundamentally change, right? But we want to do it through passion and inspiration and do, you know what I mean, versus judgment, because that just keeps us stuck and looping as well. So I hope that makes sense. Okay. So, and some ways that you can do that, some other ways would be, let's see, number 4 I want to talk about was some of us are here to usher in new information, new technology, ancient wisdom, healing modalities, right? So that would kind of how I feel called, right? To help people through their awakening. Or, you know, I think it actually is exciting. I mean, AI, just as everything has a shadow and a gift, right? The AI, there's lots of things that could be used for not great purposes, and then there's a lot of actually very good potentials coming through that too. It's how we use things, but I do think there could be some great shifts in medicine, and there's both ways, as with everything. And so I think through technology, through ancient healing, like awareness of rituals and crystals and different lights. I feel like when I use the red lights and things like that, I'm like, oh, this feels familiar. I was kind of getting a vibe back to other lifetimes where we were much more advanced in our technology, working with lights and crystals and things like that. It's like, okay, this is stimulating me, right? So I think we're starting to get information that might come through and evolve slightly differently than when was used in the past. Or you might actually even channel new modalities, right? Or we might, like when I go to Egypt, I mean, and anywhere, like I went to Egypt, and where else was it? I would say Egypt was a big one. Yeah, when I've worked with different energy in sacred places, Mount Shasta even, but different places, you start to remember things that we did, different rituals that we did, and it comes through, this lifetime, which is exciting. Number 5, really, really, really important, is that we're leading by example, right? We're leading, and how we are shifting this paradigm into positive change is just by leading by example, which I touched on a little bit already. That there's going to be, no longer will the wool be pulled over our eyes, or will it be as easy to pull the wool over our eyes, right? And so there's going to have to be a lot more transparency. And I think those that are going to really be leading the shift for people is about, we walk our talk, we're in our integrity, our energy and vibration and frequency speaks louder than our words. And when our words and our frequency are matched, then that's when magic can happen a lot of times as well, especially if you feel called to be here, to be writing books or speaking or teaching or coaching or healing or whatever, right? That's going to be really important. But I think it's also translating, and already is translating, into our governments and other places. Like it's like no longer is it going to be as easy for people to just tell us this is what it is and we're going to listen. No, we're going to be questioning. There's a lot more questioning happening, which is why things are kind of getting a little rocky, which is good. It's breaking things down, the false things, right, that are not okay, right? So that's good, but leading by example is how we're going to shift it, not through judgment, not through blame, not through victim, not through feeling angry, using that anger, transmuting it into passion and change, and then just walking our talk. I wish my family wouldn't call me crazy. It's just sad for them, really. Yeah, it is tough with family. I'm very close with my family as well. I was raised in a very conservative Christian religious upbringing, and I have a lot of religious, there's a lot of Christians who have made peace with finding their own belief systems within it all. But then with my family, they really were afraid and are, they don't understand. And so I think it was difficult for me to feel that from them. From them, I feel more fear than judgment. but there is judgment, and it doesn't feel good because it makes you feel like I'm not really seen, right? It hits that wound of feeling alone, and then you're missing your origin, your roots, or your starseed people. That's why a lot of times when we'll do an activation here pretty quickly, but when I do a lot of activations that have to do with light language or channeling the higher frequencies of the starseeds, like people will get an emotional response, and it's actually a happy emotional response or a healing of grief or sadness or loneliness, because like, oh, this feels familiar. This feels like home. I feel seen. I feel like this is who I truly am. And I haven't felt that in this lifetime. So when you have people reflecting to you that you care and love about, then they're not seeing or getting you or understanding you or judging you or whatever, it hits that wound. But for me, I had to just eventually, what really was the shift was not needing their approval. When I didn't need their approval anymore, the elephant in the room dissolved, and then I was free to be myself, even though they'll still never get it. The elephant in the room that we were rubbing up against for several years isn't really there anymore. It won't be our topic of discussion. They're not going to be on seeing things the way I see things, but I've gotten okay with that. And so I no longer let it stop me, where before I was keeping myself small, trying to compartmentalize things, right? In order to not get their judgment. Does that make sense? And so it's all, and actually we picked them. They helped me go deeper into me and accepting of me and to loving myself and not needing the approval, which actually helped me come into myself and shine and find my voice and my truth and my power, right? Without that, that's why this was the perfect catalyst. They actually did the role, right? But I had to kind of move through that, which I know is kind of painful at times as well in the process of that. But just know it has a higher purpose. Okay, so the last thing I will speak to on this is some will do this through speaking, through writing books, through sharing their message, right? It could be advocating for things. It could be sharing about your awakening. It could be about something completely else, technology, it could be speaking or writing books, sharing information, right? Topics on water, on technology, your own struggles and transformation is so healing for people to hear because they don't feel alone, which is why I often will share some of my own stories, because it helps people know that, you're not alone. And I think that can be healing in and of itself. So let me know in the chat. Do you feel called to any of those ways that I was speaking to? Does what I'm saying make sense? Does this resonate? I have so much gratitude for you speaking all of this today. An actual prayer answered. Oh my gosh, I love that, Jessica. Thanks for sharing. Yes, I let go of the need for my family's approval. And then some are actually naturally becoming more open to my way of life. Yeah, isn't that amazing? Because when we keep in that resistance locked, nobody changes. But when we let go of the resistance and just be, they're like, oh, what's this, right? And actually that's key, like what I was speaking to earlier, even like with the harder topics of the government and these things and all of the intensity, the terrible, the judgment, the war, the anger, the hate, the discriminations, all those things can be so frustrating, right? But when we're pulling and fighting against it, we're not actually letting it go. So really, as light workers, we're here to just go, okay, I see that. I'm not putting my head in the sand, and we're going to be over here. And then hopefully people get a choice to rise, because each individual has free will of choice. But this is the way that things can really change very quickly. Okay, I'm just kind of trying to look at comments really quick, and then we're going to go on to the next portion. Is it possible to change your family history? I mean, here on Earth, we have the time, right? So time is not always. So in truth, a lot of places will say we get to heal the generations, and both when we heal ourselves, we're healing the generations. Some say 7 generations forward and back, but it definitely has a ripple effect. I've seen my family, even though they don't believe in what I'm doing and we don't talk about it, match the healing that I've done in tremendous ways, right? So I do my own healing work on a certain topic like codependency or addiction or something like this. And then I watch this ripple out into my family and see them like deciding to match the healing. My daughter, definitely, she is a starseed. So she and I are the only two in my family that can have these kinds of conversations and have telepathic conversations and clear communications about like seeing or feeling energy and things like this. Like she and I do have that, but we came in as an agreement together to help shift things in this line. And I think it does help forward and back. Okay. In different ways, but people always have free will of choice. So that's something we have to recognize and be okay with, that they may or may not, and they may do it on their own timing, which may be a lot slower than we hope for, or may not happen in this lifetime. But then again, I got reframed when I looked at like, man, if my family wasn't that way, would I have grown the way I did? Would it have forced me into my growth, or would I have stayed comfortable and complacent? I think they did that. Actually, I was shown they did exactly what they're meant to. And now we're in a great space, but I had to go through that healing journey of not needing that acceptance from them in order to then just bust that elephant in the room that I was feeling triggered on, defensive on, and hurt by, right? To knowing who I am and what I'm here to do and how the good I'm doing for a lot of people, and whether they will never know or see that, and that's okay. Right. So now we are open to have our relationship with what it is, and then some people are meant to leave our life, and that's okay too. It's personal choice. Let's see here. I started to feel like I'm being shown the expansion of the radius of the atomic. Let's see, especially from the heart center. I can't see the whole comment. I'm only seeing part of that. I'll have to come back to this, Selena. I did the part 2 of the training last year. Is it familiar to the last year's? I mean, the basic core is familiar, but every year is different. I read the energy of the group. I channel messages differently for each group. But yeah, the basic structure and information will be the same. But I have people that do my free things over and over because each healing and activation is different. And the information, the stories that come through from year to year are different, but the structure will be the same. So that's up to you. Okay. Okay. So let me see. I have to read. I'm on my phone for Facebook people, and it's hard for me to see and read the whole comment. So I will come back because it kind of cuts off things partially, and I can't see the whole thing. So I'll definitely come back to you guys there. Okay. So I think that's everything. Something changed in my family. My oldest living relative was 118, and now I can't find that person. I had a picture of the grave in my phone, and now it's gone. I feel like a crazy person. I'm the only one relative who knows what I'm talking about. Just trust yourself. I think when things happen like this, sometimes it's about not needing outside validation, which is always hard, I think. But as part of that is like getting to know, like, this is how, like, some people, a lot of starseeds, myself included, or just people in general, when they're trying to learn or trust their intuition, there's a lot of doubt, right? And I think at the end of the day, we have to get to where I just know what I know and I trust myself, right? So while it would be great and fun to have other people be able to collab, like, go, wow, you know what I mean, and validate with you, just know that this is always an opportunity for you to just like trust yourself and know what you know, right? If you know that to be true and you believe it in your whole being, just know that, right? Okay, so I'm going to share a little bit about some personality traits. I'm just going to share a couple of them. If you look, I'll share in a moment how you can see more, but I just kind of want to touch on this because I know it's a question I get, but like some of the personality traits of different starseed soul groups to gain clarity of your starseed roots, or just to discover if you resonate with being a starseed. It's kind of the purpose of this portion of the call as well. So again, just like archangels, I think many people are familiar with archangels. They each have a specialty and a frequency. Michael has a very protective, big healing, eradicates fear, helps, and elicit courage and confidence, right? And has a very different energy than maybe Archangel Raphael, who's the healing angel, right? Or Archangel Jophiel, who's got a more feminine vibe, right? Who's got a different energy. So they each have a unique specialty and frequency. And with that, each one has a gift and a strength as well. And so with starseeds, each group, so that's just kind of just to know that each group, like Pleiadian versus Sirian versus Lyran versus Cassiopean, they're all going to have slightly different personality traits and strengths and gifts. And then with that, a pitfall or a weakness or something that they need to potentially transform in order to own their gift, right? And so that's something that's really powerful to become aware of when you start learning about your starseed origins, because then you can like capitalize, work with that gift, and then also be aware of your pitfalls so that you can transform that or not fall into that something that would be the shadow aspect, just like our astrology or anything else. Okay. And when we learn about this, even for ourselves, or it could also just be helpful to know about for our partner or children, right? Our clients, if you work with people in a service-based industry, it's helpful to know, because it's kind of just like, knowing, you don't have to know astrology, but if you do know astrology at all, you know what I mean as a metaphor, just knowing that somebody's a Scorpio versus a Leo versus a Cancer. It's like, if you know the differences of those, it kind of helps, like, oh, okay, I already get you a little bit. Just like when I spoke to earlier, some of the things like, oh, okay, we already get each other because we both have that misunderstood feeling, right? And so it's kind of just understanding that about somebody. So Pleiadians, as an example, that's one group that I think a lot of people have heard about. They tend to be big visionaries, right? They have a capacity, one of their strengths, capacity to have this really big picture thinking, hold a big, beautiful space for creating change on a large scale, right? However, the downside to pay attention to is they tend to want to skip steps, right? Creating a very unstable business foundation or have unrealistic expectations of time things take to create. And so then they get overwhelmed, either overwhelmed by the big vision because it's so big, they don't know how to get there, so they don't get started, or they start to run before they can walk, skip steps, and then don't create that faulty foundation and kind of get stuck, right? That could be the potential pitfall. And so knowing that about yourself, if you resonate with that, it's like having a big vision and then knowing, getting some help or breaking it down into steps and not skipping steps, and knowing that it's going to take longer might be something that you have to be aware of as you build your business, as an example, to put it in a practical application, right? I'm very spiritual and woo and all of that, but it's important to bring it down to the practical and the applicable in the 3D life that we live, where we're not going to actually be able to work with the energy. It'll just be fun and cool to learn. I want you to be able to use this energy and information, right, to better your life and to really align and succeed in your purpose work. Whereas Syrians are awesome at seeing how to make things work efficiently to solve a problem. They're out of the box thinkers. They may not necessarily be the innovator of something new, but they're going to take something and go, oh, let's shift this, let's work this, I can problem solve, right? The downside could be get very stuck in their head, get stuck making the perfect plans, thus never getting their amazing work out in the world because they've figured they want to plan it out and plan it out and plan it perfectly all the way out and then just never, never get it out. Like their fear of being wrong or not being good enough, whatever the fear is kind of can keep them stuck or just being in their head, right? So then it never actually gets out into the world in a viable way. I can resonate with that. I definitely resonate with the Syrian as soul origin for myself. And then there's the Cassiopeans, totally different energy, right? They're maybe not as known as some of the other star groups, but they are so beautiful. They bring this very balanced, beautiful, open-hearted energy, right? But one area they might need to be especially aware of, I think boundaries is actually true for all highly sensitive empaths, and which a lot of starseeds really fall into that realm. And could be extra for Cassiopeans, be aware of boundaries of overgiving or being too lackadaisical approach. And so then they'll have procrastination, thinking all is well, or there's time, kind of just like, just floating through, maybe not actually taking grounded action, just kind of just being a little bit more, free flowing, and then things don't get created. Right. And so awareness is key and knowledge is power. None of these things, our astrology chart doesn't own us, or, it's not about giving our power to any of these, but it's information and awareness and knowledge is power and key, right? Knowing your strengths and knowing your weaknesses is so empowering so that you can play to your strengths and be aware of your pitfalls and transmute those fears, because then you're going to come into your gift and your confidence even more, right? And it can also help you in your relationships with others, like I mentioned earlier, or parenting others, or in your work if you work with people, so that you can also understand them a bit, right? And then how your dynamics of your strengths and weaknesses together start to have a dynamic, right? And this way you don't fall victim to your circumstances, but instead have this awareness that can set you up for success and help you transform in any area, right? So let me know if that makes sense. So basically we've talked about so far today, kind of a lot of information. We're going to go into some of the other stuff here shortly, but the insights we learned is that we all have a unique and important gift that we are aligned with, and that when we are aligned with our true self, we start to attract our community, like we are in community here now, where maybe before we didn't know anybody like us, right? As an example. And all of this really helps to bring us both into physical and spiritual alignment, okay? And so being committed to our own healing and ascension journey is key, and it's really the most important aspect of our Starseed mission, because as above, so below, right? Micro and macro. As we do that, it helps to helps us be aware and receive, and the confidence and the courage to take the action on the things that we're called to do, right? And also we're going to feel happy, fulfilled, and abundant, because that's just a natural byproduct of being aligned with who we truly are. So even if you're unsure, if you're a starseed, or if this is a new concept but drawn to this, just like our spirit guides and everybody, our star guides are here to support us on our higher path and purpose. The problem is we're not really taught this in school, right? Most of us didn't grow up with a family or society that is open to this type of awareness or information. And so it can feel a little scary to open up our gifts to our starseed roots. But once you've awakened to your starseed mission, it's like having this inner alarm clock go off, within you, and yet there's no instruction book, right? Or how to accomplish it, which can also be frustrating and overwhelming. So at the core, just know you are born for a purpose, and this purpose is to help make a better place for yourself, for your family, and future generations. So you don't have to experience all of this hesitation. That's kind of why I like to do these kinds of classes as well and create programs like I do. For those of you that feel called to this, I'm going to share just a few minutes about a way, because when you become familiar with these star beings and when you put safeguards in place, knowing that they are high integrity light beings, you don't have to experience the hesitation that I did at the start. It doesn't have to take a year or two before you start actually utilizing the work that is coming to you or the information that's coming to you, right? If you feel called to work with the star guides, this will actually give you a point of connection to open the door for them to start showing up for you in a way that's comfortable and safe. So you don't have to wait like I did, okay? And also to help you potentially get to know who you are, as well as, start to recognize for other people that you are around. So if you would like, I'm going to share just a few minutes about why I created the Starseed Alignment Activation Series. And once we finish that, we'll wrap up with our activation. I want to end on the high note, get all the conversation, heady sort of stuff out of the way, and then move into the activation. There's a quick question here. Is there a correlation between star seeds and missing childhood memories? I'm missing most of the 9 years before. A lot of star seeds do mention this. I think trauma, like having a lot of star seeds do say they have a hard time remembering pieces of their childhood, but I think that it's actually a lot to do with trauma that you might have experienced. And I think that could be whether you're a star seed or not. Sometimes having a difficult, traumatic upbringing, that was difficult, or you're highly sensitive and overwhelmed, or you had alcoholism in your family, or if you're walking on eggshells, like different things like that can be part of where we block things as well. But I definitely forget a lot of things as well. So yeah, but I wouldn't say it's limited to only starseed, but that is something that commonly can happen because most of us incarnated into relatively intense upbringings, right? So let me see here. Okay, so let's go ahead, and I'm going to share this screen for a few minutes here. Give me a second to get set up on both, on all three places. And yes, both are recorded. And if you've registered, you will get the replay. Okay, so, and really quick, while I'm thinking about this and getting this set up, I'll have my team put in the chat again, the VIP $11.11 upgrade if you want to join us for the second part, because that'll be a pretty quick transition, and that's only going to be on Zoom. So Zoom, it will be the same link here that you stay on, and then people that are coming to us will want to join us over here. So I'll have you guys do that while I'm getting my screen pulled up here. Oh my goodness. Okay, give me 1 second. There we go. I think that we should be good now. I don't know, Zoom is being a little bit weird, which is usually the most stable one. I'm going to try to share my screen here in Zoom. I might have to just do it differently and share you like the page, if it doesn't show my screen. Okay, so you guys see my screen everywhere on YouTube. I'm going to try this, but for some reason it's not populating on here. Are you guys seeing it? Okay, I think it is now. Good. Let me know in the chat on Zoom. You guys seeing the page here? Okay. I'll stop my video just in case that's helping. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up this screen. So this is why I created the Starseed program, which I love. And if you have taken the Starseed program and you're here, because I see, I don't know if people are here that have taken it. I see some of my students from my SSU. Share how that was for you, because I've had a lot of great feedback for it as well. Okay, so what you're going to learn in the Starseed program and why I created it is we're going to really work with your multidimensional gifts, okay? This program is really to help you align with the integrity of being in a safe agreement, right? So you can choose who to work with and who to resonate with as you have tools to make this like informed decision. So for the multidimensional gifts, the cool thing is we're going to be working with I think how many is there? 11 different starseed groups plus some bonuses. And so these can all be, I have spirit guides from all these different realms because they all have different gifts, right? Which is really, really powerful. So in terms of multidimensional gifts, as you go through this course, you're going to expand your awareness on your spiritual path, raise your vibration, and tap into more advanced levels of your gifts than previously available, because it's going to activate dormant information and energy within your field, which is really, really powerful. And you can use this to work with for yourself, for others, or professionally, which is exciting. You're going to expand your spiritual support team. So again, you'll have an evolving group of trusted guides. So each one allows you to connect with a spirit guide from each of these soul groups so that you can start to work with them and have them guide you, just like the archangels can guide you with their own frequency. Each of these star beings have different gifts and frequency for healing, for awareness, for all kinds of things, which is super exciting and will help you on your own ascension journey as well as your purpose work if you feel called to that. And you're going to integrate your gifts. You're going to go through a lot of transformation. And it's just going to accelerate your journey because there's also high level activations, including DNA upgrades, attunements to each of the star guides that are going to help you activate your gifts at a deeper level, which will create a ripple effect, which is exciting. During our time, you're going to expand your spiritual support team with star guides, transform your fears to increase your ability to share your truth in your relationships through public speaking, feeling afraid to be seen, be heard, receiving your gifts, like all of that's some of the things that we work with, plus more. You're going to increase your ability to download and translate channeled messages that you receive with more accuracy, which will also awaken your intuitive gifts. Expand your multidimensional gifts because there's actually a lot of gifts. So like if you're already working in a realm like parallel timelines or remote viewing or dream work, I don't teach that specifically, but if you're there, it's going to help you tap into that at a deeper level, right? If that's there for you. You're going to be accessing higher levels of consciousness, right? Getting more clarity and confidence of your soul's purpose, deeper understanding of yourself to live a life that's more aligned and connecting with your true desires and experience more fulfillment. You'll start to notice that when we raise our vibration, we manifest more quickly. You'll start to understand the connections with those in your life, like your children, your partner, your family, friends, and coworkers, because when you understand yourself, and you start to heal at those things at the root pattern and you understand it, you can see things from a spiritual perspective instead of being in that victim energy or feeling blame or frustrated or bad or sad, right? You start to transmute it, which is just helps exponentially with your relationships, but also with your ascension journey. And you're also going to connect with star guides, which are amazing. Each one has its own unique activation and healing that's specific to the gifts of that star group. So even if you're not sure if you're a starseed, this is just a highly healing program. So here inside the 11-week Starseed multidimensional experience, you're going to get the first module, which is all about starseeds, light workers, indigos, crystals, and rainbow children explained, because I get that question a lot and it's an important one. We also have module 2, which is about Sirians from Sirius A, Pleiadians, Arcturians, Cassiopeans. Now, if you go to the information page, whether you want to join this program or not, I actually have a paragraph about gifts, a small paragraph about gifts for each of these that you might enjoy looking at, kind of like a little synopsis, like I shared earlier about the Pleiadians. But I have that for each of these. We also go into the Sirians from Sirius B, which is the mermaids, the dolphins, the whales, my favorite. The Lyrans, which I actually feel strongly connected with as well. They are actually considered, Lyrans and the Vegans actually are considered like the galactic and like the oldest galactic ancestors. So a lot of the lines kind of stem from Lyrans and Vegans as well. So you might be resonant with them as well, in conjunction with another group. Mintakans, Andromedans, Orions, and Vegans. So those are the core groups that we'll be working with. And again, each one, I'll share what they have in a second. Each one includes a video about their personality, archetypal energy, strengths and weaknesses, channeled messages and transmissions from each starseed group to support your path and align you with your highest path and starseed mission, a guided journey to meet a star group in a safe way, right? So this is what's so nice. I hope this shortcut your time a lot, that you can just go into this with a ability to meet a trusted guide from each of these areas and get an energetic healing and activation on their specialty, which is amazing. Plus a PDF handout to support you in, like kind of a cheat sheet to come back to. And then you get 3 bonuses: Lemurian lifetimes, Atlantean lifetimes, and Egyptian lifetimes, because all of, I think many of us do resonate with living with those, with that time. And so these are very powerful to clear karma and to activate gifts and the fears and things that might have been started from that time. There are also other testimonials on the page from people who have it, but it's just so fun, people's experiences of working with the galactic star guides that maybe if you haven't in the past. So this is where I asked some of my Soul Success Unleashed community to share, like, what is working with your galactic star guides like? And Carla says, it's been incredibly expansive on my journey, helped me connect many puzzle pieces and continue to. I've remembered and reawakened so much. It has led me to new healing modalities, courses, and programs. And Tammy says, was talking about a specific guide that came to her that was on her radar, but she questioned her channeling as usual, but now she's super excited because she's moved through the fears and being able to really take this to the next level. So that's exciting, right? We want to be able to trust our information and our gifts. And so today, actually until the 14th, we have a special. It's regularly $777, but we have a special for 220. I think, does that work out to 222 off? I didn't realize that exactly, but it's $555 anyways in full. Payment plan starting as low as $130, or I believe as low as $50 on Klarna. Now that is limited to US. That's not on me. That's just Klarna changed the way they do it. So since I'm US based, if you're US and you choose the in full amount on the checkout, and instead of adding credit card information, you can choose Klarna or Affirm. I've seen it as low as $50. Now this is individual. You have to, it takes 3 minutes to see if you qualify and what they'll give you, but that's a really great deal. So I just wanted to share that with you. So I'm going to have my team share the information, this link for the Starseed program, and for those of you that are interested, in the comments below. And you can come back to this after we end, because they'll be in the comments there, or bookmark it now if you want. And like I said, I actually go into, what else is kind of fun is I go into each, like a description of each of those star groups. So I know a lot of people were asking, little details about different things. I kind of talk about them within the page itself so that you can check it out. So I forgot, I got Zoom here. So let me share that with you guys here. And then we're going to go into our activation journey. But I can tell you that the students that have taken this course have found, like, I know who my starseed origin is now. I feel I got so much healing. I have my starseeds helping me on my path. I feel such huge healings and shifts in my life, my own journey. So people have experienced just a lot of transformation for sure. For some reason, I'm having trouble getting this to you guys. Let's try it like here. Okay, here we go. Okay, so there we're set. Nope, I don't know why it's not taking links for some reason. It just might be my my Zoom is being very weird. So you guys on Zoom, we're going to email the link out as well, and we're going to reconvene here shortly. So I'll try to get that figured out by the part 2. But yeah, it's an amazing course, and I hope you'll check it out if you're interested in your ascension journey, whether you feel called to being a starseed or purpose work or not. It's definitely a healing journey that will assist you if you like what we're talking about today. All right, so let's go ahead and, oh, I love it. It was an 111 or in the chat at the time. Awesome. Okay, so let's go ahead and start the meditation. I am going to also record this separately because I think that that's nice to have as a just to have here. And so take a moment to get into a comfortable position, because we're going to do an activation journey now. Definitely look for, yeah, okay, there. Sorry, I'm looking at comments. If I start looking at comments too much, then I get very sidetracked. That's my ADD brain going sideways. So I will check the comments when we're done. I want to jump into the guided journey so that you can start to connect with some of the soul group energy. We're also going to start to just have you in the beginning, since we're in this powerful energy activation, I'm going to run a couple of activation clearings and have you set your own intention and start to bring in the energy that you want to as well. And then start to kind of connect with some of the different frequencies of your star guides. Okay. So let's take a moment to just close our eyes And take a few nice, deep, cleansing breaths into your body and into your heart. And exhale. Another nice deep breath in. And exhale. Beautiful. So from here, I just want you to feel that connection to the earth. So with your intention, you can just imagine a beautiful golden beam of light connecting at the base of your spine, at your root chakra, all the way into that crystalline core of Gaia. Just allowing that earth to connect and help you release and let go of whatever's not serving you. You can start to also have the intention of, I like to call my higher self forward. So having the intention that your higher self is really present for you in this activation journey, and also extending all the way up into the divine, that source of all that is. Just really strengthening that energy above and below. I'm going to go ahead and run an activation called Ground, Align, Connect. And it's going to do exactly that, help you ground and release to the earth, open and connect with your higher self and source energy directly so that you can really have that energetic clearing and receive as much as you can today. So if you want to receive any of the activations as we go, just say yes in your mind as I'll send the energy to your higher self. And just allow that Ground, Align, Connect activation energy to just move through your crown chakra, down through your chakra column, through your body, your aura. And it's just acting as an energetic flush, clearing out anything you're ready to let go of, whether it's your own emotions or mental body energy or other people's energy, or whatever that's going to come up for you to release as we move through this time together. And go ahead during this time and set your intention, right? Just have the overarching intention of aligning with your higher path and your higher purpose, and whatever else you're personally desiring, because we're going to go into some high energy here, which will help you. So just good time to use this energy. What is your intention? Beautiful. As you're continuing to set your intention, I'm going to also run an energy called the Rainbow Light Activation. This came through really strong. So the Rainbow Light Activation. And what this is this is to help awaken your energy. So this is going to help raise your vibration and clear any fear-based things. So every time we set an intention, whatever is not aligned needs to be released. And so this will help you release whatever you're ready to let go of to bring you into higher alignment with your intention. Start to clear out and collapse dated timelines. And just start to awaken your energy, right? Really clearing out that path to more ease and joy. And so you might see, feel, or imagine this energy just again streaming down from above through your whole field of energy. I always feel like, for me, this one feels tingly. It might be different for you, or you might feel nothing, or you might be not even hearing. Sometimes people say, I fell asleep, I can't hear. It's still working. Beautiful. So from here, we're going to take what I like to call a cosmic elevator ride. So with your intention, you can see, feel, imagine, or just simply intend that we're going to step into a golden cosmic elevator together and ride up into the quantum field. I'm going to rise up into that higher vibration where you can really see and discern energy more freely. And as this elevator door opens up in the quantum field, we're going to step out and you might see, feel, or imagine a beautiful platinum crystalline sphere of energy. This platinum crystalline sphere of energy. And just let yourself effortlessly flow over there, right? This energy just really vibrates at that higher frequency. It's almost like it's the frequency that's going to help you acclimate to that starseed realm. And it's just very healing. So just move your energy. You can see yourself float, glide, or just transport into the center of this crystalline sphere, where we're going to continue working with the rest of this activation. And as we're going to imagine that we're sitting in a circle around the edges, right? So whether you're live or replay, doesn't matter. Your energy is here. And in the center of this sphere, we're going to bring in some different soul group frequencies. So you can start to feel it. You might even rub your hands together and just face them outwards. I like that as a way, but you just might, however you want to experience this is fine. There's no right or wrong. But in the center of our circle, I'm going to bring in the Syrian soul group frequency. And just feel that energy start to stream into the center. You might even notice different colors if you're visual. If not, still works just the same. It's just energy. Everything's frequency. I kind of like to have my hand chakras, just rub them together, activate and face them outward to feel the energy. You might see, sense, feel, hear, know. And if you're not super attuned to your gifts in that way, it's still working. It just works at the level that is you're ready for. And just notice simply, does this feel familiar, right? Is there a familiarity there? Again, their frequency in and of itself, all of the frequencies will elicit a healing that will likely be aligned with what your intention was and is. And just let that energy, wash over you if you want even. It's like you can let it move through your field. It's there. It's up to you. You just want to observe it, feel it with your hands, let the transmission flow through your whole being. It's up to you. And now we'll ask the Syrian energy is going to evaporate. And we're going to call forward the energy of the Pleiadian soul group frequency. So bringing in the energy of the Pleiadian soul group frequency. So you may or may not notice a subtle difference. You could notice different colors, or maybe one feels familiar, one doesn't. Maybe one feels great in your heart and the other one feels more contracted, just it's all awareness. And even still, what you'll notice is after this activation in the coming days, notice if you start to have an awareness of a specific soul group. This is going to help you in the future start to recognize and discern these energies of these guides more easily. So again, just allow that transmission, whether you want to observe it, feel it with your hands, let it move through your field of frequency, is up to you. But I already feel like a little healing. Okay, beautiful. And we'll let the energy of that Pleiadian soul group frequency evaporate itself for a moment. And let's call in the energy of the Cassiopean energy star group. Beautiful. And just notice again what you see, feel, know. This could be newer, could be familiar, or could just feel nice, right? Beautiful. And we'll let that Cassiopean energy wash away. Let's bring in the, I feel called to bring back the Syrian just for contrast. So sometimes you don't feel, and then it's all of a sudden you come back to something that's like, okay, I'm starting to recognize the difference. So let's bring the Syrian energy back in one more time. And did that shift, right? From the Cassiopean to the Syrian again. The Syrian energy is very present as part of the Lionsgate portal, that alignment. So it's extra potent right now. Beautiful. All right. So just letting them all guide away. And now we're just going to thank our star guides and galactic realm. And take a moment to just refocus your awareness and intention on your intention and alignment to your highest path. Right? Just allowing that energy to just really align itself. Really having the intention, if you'd like, to have this transmission of awaken your own starseed roots and your own mission within your field. And you can even ask, right? Is there any messages or guidance coming through for you right now? I like to ask, is there any messages or guidance coming through? And usually it's short and sweet, at least in a case like this. Might be, just notice what you think, see, feel, or imagine, or hear, or know. And sometimes these things come throughout the day. So just trust them, even in your dreams, right? It could come back. So for a moment now, we'll just thank all of our guides again. And we're going to step back out of this sphere into our cosmic elevator and just allow it to take us right back down to where we began. Just feeling your energy. Start to place your hand on your heart or your belly as you start to just take this nice, deep cleansing breaths. I'm going to have the intention of helping you to really bring your energy into your body. So just imagine that your whole energy is being filled up with your higher self. Just see, feel, or imagine your energy filling yourself up all the way from your head to your toes. Anywhere that you've released, take another couple of nice deep breaths in. You might wiggle your toes, stomp your feet a little bit. And when you feel ready, you can open your eyes. Beautiful. All right. A couple of quick things because we are a little bit on a time frame here. And I want to hear how that was for you. Team, can you be sure to place my email? If somebody said they purchased Zoom, they purchased the VIP and they didn't get the email, check your promo, your spam, even your trash. I don't know how that happens, but check your promo spam for the email. Have my team email or email in right now, and I'll have my team be checking the email over the next 12 minutes or so until we start the next portion. And then if you're on Facebook, you'll want a direct message because we won't be sharing the Zoom link in the Facebook group because it's a paid portion, right? So we can't put the Zoom links here, but what I would say is email jen@soulsuccessunleashed.com. Okay. Or you can purchase now, but most likely it went to the promo or spam folder. So check there. You also get the replay. If for some reason you can't see it or whatever, you can't be live and you order it, you'll get the replay later this afternoon. Yes, we can definitely heal ourselves through energy work. Absolutely. Tons of energy work there. Wow, lots of blue and gold and pinks. My head felt so large with frequency. Awesome, Pat. Woo, I went to a deep meditative space. Awesome. I love that. I could have gone forever. You're welcome. I know. Doesn't it feel so good? It does feel so good. It's that high energy. I got interrupted halfway, but that rainbow felt amazing. I almost went to tears. I can't wait to come back to the replay. Yay. Awesome. All right. Yes. All of you here on Zoom, we will come back to the same Zoom link. So come back here if you want to join us. I'll have my team one more time, put the VIP link in there. If you don't see it right away, please email right away. She put the link of my email in there. If you didn't feel anything, totally fine. Does not mean it absolutely works to the degree that we allow it. So sometimes if we're sometimes we just don't feel, right? Especially if we have a lot of energy to move, or if we're new to energy work, or we have been so sensitive that we've been out of our body and not connected. So not feeling doesn't mean anything. Sometimes not feeling can be fine too, because people go into a deep space where they go, I went unconscious, totally fine, because that means you might have just gone so deep that you're out of your way to let it happen. So it all works in the way that it's ready for you. To what you can receive. You can also listen to it again, and it will always come in at the next level for you. This will be on replay. Absolutely. All who register, make sure you registered in the for the original program piece. David, email in, because at this point I don't have that link handy for this particular one, but we'll be emailing out to all who registered. So if you want to email in and ask for the replay part 1 and part 2, then we can get you registered. I had blue icing circles going around my silver lake. Great release. Awesome. Thank you so much. I had made a connection with Syrian grandmother. Zoe, that's so awesome. Awesome. Okay. All right, everybody. I am going to, yes, if you've missed most of part 1, you can still come to part 2. They're independent, but they work together. So you can get the replay and listen to part 1 later. So yeah, if you're able to come to part 2 right now, even if you missed part of part 1, it's totally fine. All right, I'm going to hop off because I do want to take a couple of minutes. We're going to start at 11:30 Pacific time. So basically 9 minutes. Okay. I just need to take a quick, drink of water, and I wanted to give people to get registered and to get the energy, get the link if they wanted to join us, basically. How do I know if I'm Pleiadian or Syrian or something? That just takes time and levels of awareness. If you saw the Starseed program, that could be really helpful. Most of the people, there was the highest percentage, almost, I think it was like in the 90 percentile of people who went into the Starseed activation program that I shared, didn't know their Starseed origin, and then felt like they did after, right? Not every single star group is there, so I can't say 100%, but people definitely start to get to know themselves. Okay, the VIP is there. So if you haven't registered, go for that. Yeah, I think that's everything. All right, everybody, lots of love. Thank you for joining me for this amazing portal. It's so powerful, and I appreciate having all of your energy here with me, and I look forward to talking with you again soon. All right, bye for now.